All right, in this video, I'll show you how to make assemblies with a joint. So I opened up the maglev assembly here, and now we're gonna add to it our foam block. So it's right here. Click and drag and drop it in. And then I'm just gonna move it over to here and press OK. All right. This block itself, I'm gonna hide that. So it's right here. Turn off the visibility. All right. Now, when you assemble joints, you need a point to assemble them from. So I'm going to bring this particular one to the top of this base plate here. So when we built this, we built I knew where the origin point was. So it doesn't have necessarily a point on the end here, but I do have the origin point. So I just need to make that visible. So I go to the item itself, I expand it, and I turn on origin visibility, and there's that origin point right here. And if I expand this, this is the origin point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble a joint. So I can click Assemble Joint. And the first one has been selected, which is the origin point. So that means the origin is going to move to this one here. And that's the second one I want. Okay, so I want to put it right on top of the center of this. Okay, so I placed the two there, but you'll see that was the middle of that particular item. I know that this was 2.5 inches tall, so that means the center of this was 1 1/4. I need to move it in this direction, 1 1/4, so 1.25. Okay, so there we go. Now this one has been placed, and if I needed to still move it, okay, I can continue to move it because I've created the joint right here. I can go to the joint, right click, and go edit joint. And if I need to adjust it a little bit, like for instance, move it back a little bit, I think that should probably be about the best place. Okay, and that looks most accurate. All right, so that's how you can create a joint. I can turn off my origin visibility on this one here. Okay. Now there's some other special joints that you want to try. Okay. So the other one is when you are going to put the propeller on top of the motor. Okay. So when you during the joints, you want to make sure you grab the point that you are attaching it from. So I'm going to go ahead and construct a new joint. So again, here's the shortcut: assemble a joint. And I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to get the center of this shaft, the back end of this shaft here. So if I click on the circle, that means that I'm getting the center point of it. Okay. So that's the first one has been selected. The second one is where I'm going to attach it to, and I want to attach it to the center of this. Okay. So there we go. It is now attached to the center. And let's take a look and see if that's good for me or not. It is, but it is actually flipped. So I need to flip it. And that's the way I want it. Okay. So here we go. It is now in the right position. Okay. And then I can press OK. All right. So now those two items are put together. Now, if you notice, the last thing I'm going to do is show you how to get this motor over to a point over onto the car here, okay, to the foam block. So you need to find a place on the motor. Now, the interesting thing about the motor assembly is that the motor assembly, if I look at and expand it, okay, it is made up of a bunch of different bodies. So we need to first create a rigid set for this. Okay, so I'm going to click on the DC motor and then right click it and make a rigid group. So all 12 of those components are locked together and will move all consistently together. So I press OK. So now I've done that. Okay, now I can go ahead and move this motor along with the fan that is attached to it. Okay, so we are going to now we need to find a point where we want to put it onto this car, but there's no exact point here that I'm going to find. So let's make one. So we need to go in and do our into our sketch and create a point. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. Okay, so we just need to make a point on this to attach it. So we're going to take this body, and this one is called the foamy. We're going to turn on the origin, and we're going to get that origin point again. All right, and we're going to create a sketch using that plane. So we want to create our sketch on this plane here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and change our view, and go ahead and draw a line starting at the origin and bringing it right out to right about there. Okay, and put another line and put a point right there. Okay, and we're going to finish that sketch. Okay, so now we do have a point that we can bring this to. Okay, so I can turn off this origins. So there's a point there that we can then attach this to. All right, so we are going to go ahead and make sure that, first of all, we're going to make sure that our motor is a rigid group. Okay, I think we've done that already. So let's go ahead and make an assembly. And we're going to take this point here. Okay, so that's with the blue axis up. Okay, and we're going to put it on top of that point there. And we want it with the blue axis. And there it is. Good. Okay, so now we have those 2 points together. Okay, we're just not in the proper rotation. So we're just going to rotate this. Okay, to 0 degrees and press OK. All right, so there we go. This is now in position. I think I want to move it in that way a little bit. So I just go to the joint itself, right click on the joint, go edit joint, and we're just going to slide this back. Oh, maybe 0.2 inches. And that looks a little bit better. Okay. So that's how you can make a point for this particular item. All right. And then all you have to do is put these magnets in place, and you should be done.